You may notice the new surroundings. That's because it is international law that anything that having to do with relationships of the male-female dynamic has to be recorded in a vehicle. I'm not sure why. I'm just trying to abide by the law. Every relationship I've ever been in, as far as it comes to male-female dynamic, intimacy, so on and so forth, has ended in failure. Every one of them. You go back to girlfriends, dating, one-offs, whatever you want to call it, a 12-year marriage that ultimately failed. Every one of them has failed. So do not perceive this as advice, because it's not, which is kind of funny. It's almost like one of those financial deals where they tell you exactly what to do, and then they say, this is not financial advice. For financial advice or tax advice, you need to consult a professional. Same. Alone at 50. What are you going to do? You're going to live the rest of your years all by yourself and be alone. Okay, first of all, I personally am not alone. I have 2 children. I have a small but awesome group of friends. I'm not alone. Now, male-female dynamic, interpersonal relationship. I don't know what the word would encapsulate all that, but you know where I'm going with this. Okay, so you have no significant other. I have zero problem with this. All the preconceived notions I had of quote-unquote love were wrong. And the reason they were wrong is because I manifested, that's a bad word, I basically invented them in my mind. I got, stuff from Louis L'Amour books and pop culture and movies. And if you pay close attention, let's just take movies because most people are familiar with that. That sentence killing me. The guy and the girl meet and they're kind of flirty and there's a little spark there and maybe something happens that's dramatic, maybe not, whatever the case. I mean, it's like the wink of an eye. And those two are just paired up. They are in love. They're shacking it up. They're doing the thing. Nothing happened. It cuts out the whole middle part about getting to know each other and do we have things in common or whatever. I took that, as most people do, and built my preconceived concept of love on that, which is wrong from the start. Of course, all my relationships ended in failure. They were based on nonsense. But, okay, so alone at 50 years old, that's half 100. And we got to go back to what is the point of a relationship? I would say when you're young, the point of that relationship would be, a family. And then children. Well, I did that. So after 50, which is where I find myself now, what would the point be? Companionship? Because I already have that. Now there's some people, a lot of people, would make the argument, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? Like it's a crisis, oh my gosh, you're by yourself. Let me tell you a little something. I am solidly Gen X, right smack dab in the middle of her. 1974. I was trained for this. Ignored by parents. My parents had 8 children that lived. By the time I came along, they didn't give a rat's ass. I did a little experiment when I was a kid. It seemed like, in my head, the only time that they wanted anything from me was to gripe at me. So I did this little experiment where I was going to say, how long can I go without me initiating conversation with either one of my parents before they would talk to me? And part of this experiment was me doing everything I was supposed to do. Taking out the trash and making sure my laundry was in the place to be washed and all the little arbitrary crap, of living. 3 days went by. And I broke. I was a kid, I didn't have any staying power back then. I didn't have the iron will that I have now. I was the one that broke and spoke to 3 days. They never spoke to me. I was trained to be alone my whole life. And again, I go back to the preconceived notions. I had it one way in my head. wouldn't it be this, before I was married, when I was single, or in between relationships or whatever, wouldn't it be great just, go and see the mountains and have that significant other where it just, you had all that was fluff. And when I did those things, those type things when I was married, it was never as good as it was when it was in my mind, because what was in my mind was wrong. It was based on nothing. Pop culture. There is a very small subset of people that do find that. I've never been one of them. So to continue this charade after age 50, I don't have any plans for a family. I have a family. I'm not starting out brand new. Would it be nice to have somebody help me put my coat on? Well, absolutely. Yeah, it'd be great. Wouldn't it be nice if women were thin and pleasant? Wouldn't it be nice to have some kind of conversation sometimes at the end of the day, end of the evening? Maybe. A lot of times I just want quiet and peace. It's a very selfish way to live. I make no bones about that. Very selfish, very self-centered. Don't use the N-word on me. That word should be banned. That's something that's been around in the psychobabble crap probably since there's been psychobabble crap. And then some peasant found out about it. Oh, he's a narcissist. Oh, she's a narcissist. Everybody is. Everybody at their core is self-centered. They want the best for themselves. Same reason you eat the cleanest food you can find. You want the very best for yourself. I hate that word, but we're moving on. So solid, Gen X, right in the center of it. I was trained for this, man. I was trained to be alone. I didn't get married until I was, 24, 25? Prior to that, I lived alone for years, like almost a decade, I think. No, that can't be right. I don't know, a lot of years, 5 years, something like that, by myself in a giant house. I had no problem with it. And people would ask me, doesn't it creep you out? Doesn't it? Why would it? I grew up on my own. I was born for this. Piece of cake. So, what are you going to do? What do you mean, what am I going to do? I'm going to enjoy what time remains of me. I mean, yeah, I'm going to, view things somewhat pessimistically. Really, more accurately, it'd be realistically. I'll enjoy the decline. I know where it's going. I mean, this is not a great mystery for anybody with any kind of thinking ability. At my home, my castle, it's a law maxim. A man's home is his castle. That's not some clever saying they made it. It's a law maxim. It's foundational law and Valentine's law. I will enjoy peace in my castle. It might be easier to talk about the things that I will not do. I will not pay for a kitchen remodel every 6 or 7 years that isn't needed. I won't be doing that. I won't be paying for anyone's student debt. I paid my student debt. It amounted to about $37 in public library fines. You took on student debt, that's on you. I won't be the 401k for anybody. And a lot of this now, a lot of your dating after, say, 40 probably, a lot of that's, you're the 401k. That's the plan. Failed finances, absolute disastrous results. We need a bailout. So they'll settle for the lesser man. They'll settle in their minds. Who's settling for who? You're the one that needs the 401k, not him. You better fly right, I would say. I will not be taking any vacations that I cannot afford to go places that I don't want to go. It's not sensible. I will not be arguing about matters of pettiness, nonsense, nor will I be trying endlessly to appease someone who is not happy within themselves. It's not my job to fix you or entertain you or make you happy. It just isn't. So why would I try that? That's just beating your head against the wall over and over and over. I won't be spending any weekends or any other of my personal valuable time at some in-laws' house that I don't like They don't have anything to say of value. Why would I go there? I would never go there of my own accord. I'm going to go there to appease you. Well, this guy ain't. I'm not raising anybody else's kids or grandchildren. I have raised my children. Now, in the event that I get grandchildren someday, I help raise them. And, I help out. I do the babysitting. Of course I would. It'd be awesome. Am I going to take on her kids or grandchildren? Not my burden. I won't be selling my place so I can buy an even bigger place. You're going in the wrong direction here. Your years are winding down, and with that, your income will be funneling down, regardless of what it was when you were making it. It's going to be, you're going to have to watch out. You don't want to outlive your income. Why would I buy a bigger house? Oh, so we can fill it up from stuff from Hobby Lobby because it's on sale. There's a guy named Raymond on YouTube. He's a different guy. Some of his stuff is interesting, though, but he made a good point. It came from his dad, actually, and he said it's not on sale unless you were intending to buy it anyway. That's really good advice. I won't be arguing over my faith and what I believe. I won't be trying to appease you over the things that I believe in. That is so senseless, it's just beyond me. Won't be buying a new car every 4 years because the previous one is boring. Also, a senseless activity. I won't be participating in this consumerism business. Of course, I'm going to consume something. You have to live. Buying just to be buying or to try to fill some void within yourself. There's your answer. It's a void within yourself that no amount of stuff is going to fill. You buy a really expensive anything vehicle because the old one was boring? Good grief. I'm not going to be celebrating any holidays aimed at relieving me of my finances. Like Valentine's Day. What did you get her for Valentine's Day? What did she get me? The men are obviously the more romantic of the sexes. They just are. Point being is Valentine's Day. When was the last time that you heard a woman, I've got a special surprise for you. I got it all cooked up. I've been working on it for weeks. It's never that. It's always the men. What did you, he only took me to Olive Garden. You got to eat, didn't you? Why didn't you come up with something great? If it's so easy and you had this thing worked up in your head, why didn't you do it? There's no law says you can't be the one. This constant appeasement is not my thing, man. And again, I'll be the first one to admit it. Selfishness, absolutely. Because with that comes peace of mind. One of the few things that I have mastered in my life is the spirit of contentment. I am content in who I am, what I am, where I live, and oftentimes it's a difficult thing. It took years to master. Oftentimes I'll get an urge, you know how you do, again, boredom. I feel like going somewhere. Go to the store. Let's go to something, the freaking strip mall and just all this consumer. Let's just go. The more I felt that way, I finally learned to say, well, okay, that's what you want. Let's not do that. This is to myself, to master that. Let's put that aside. Why don't you just be content for all the things you have? I have wealth beyond your wildest dreams. You probably do too. I'm not talking about riches. I'm talking about wealth. And I have wealth beyond my own wildest expectations and dreams. Is there something wrong with just being content with that? Staying put? You can spend a lot of time just thinking about the endless blessings that you have. in such a time as this, where if you're a little bit uncomfortable, you push a button on the wall. Now, apparently that's too much effort. You have it on your phone, because getting to the wall was too much. You do it from your phone now, in the recliner. I mean, how much easier does life have to be for us to stop bitching about it? I don't know, because we haven't gotten there yet. But as for me, I've learned to be content. With that contentment, bringing another party into that. And again, what's the point? We're not raising children. It's a done deal. It's over. And I'm totally okay with that. If I don't want to shave, there's nobody nagging me about doing it. If I don't want to fold the laundry, if I want to mix my blue jeans in with my t-shirts, there is nobody nagging me, telling me how it's incorrect. It's correct to me, because I don't care. There are so many other things in life. And my life, personally, is at times difficult enough where the last thing I need is to bring somebody else into that dynamic. But look at how society does it. And the men, you hear all the time after a nasty breakup or divorce, you know, man, the best thing for you to do would be go out and get laid right now. Just get that. That's the worst advice ever. Yeah, don't spend any time unpacking anything or seeing, what actually was your own fault in the matter. And there had to be some, there was. Don't spend any time doing that. Just take all your damaged goods and your baggage to your next relationship. That seems like a great idea. How has it panned out for society? Horribly. You don't need no man, girl. You just go and you just do your... How's that worked out? And why are there people at 50 that are single? If it's worked out so well. And what is this need almost? Oh my gosh. 50 years old and you don't have somebody else to... I mean, if that's your thing, if you're that insecure, and that's what a lot of it boils down to, honestly. Spend some time, figure out yourself, and the more you do that, and learn contentment, that'd be another advice that I would throw out there. By God, we need to learn contentment in this world. Because once you learn contentment, you don't need all that material crap. And ultimately, you don't need a significant other. There are some people that want that. If that is your thing and you can make that a go, man, you have my blessing. Not that you need it. You have God's blessing. But why are we aside from like being widowed, some kind of unexplained death or tragedy or whatever, what happened? Why are we 50 and single? Do you think it's going to work out the second time? Maybe the third time. Maybe the fourth time. These people just keep on and on and on. It's so... Again, it's not my concern. It really isn't. I'm just saying from an observer's point of view. And so then I apply these things to myself. Is this a necessary thing? Is it needed? No, not to me. Think of the peace and the harmony that would be disrupted bringing something like that on board. Again, that's your thing and you can make a go of it, man. Awesome. Good for you. It's never worked out for me. So alone at 50, trouble with that is, at least for me, there isn't any trouble with it. The trouble would be yoking up with another at this age. Hey, thanks for watching. I appreciate your time. We have fulfilled our legal obligation of recording something about relationships in a vehicle. We can go back to the Empire of Dirt next week. It's going to be all right. I appreciate your time. I will see you next time.